that Game & Watch's like really, really good up B might struggle to punish them sometimes.
Yeah, and then up air, you're not really going to be hitting a shield.
Yeah, exactly.
In a position where like you can be punished for it, you know? It's really just like a sharking through platform type of up air. Although I would love to see a combo start from falling Young Link up air.
So it does look as though we were both correct. It seems like the Game & Watch in the back pocket as PawnMaster has to struggle against DLC here for his tournament life in semis.
Taking 68% over the span of 15 seconds, yeah, it's definitely looking very dominant for Chris, just starting off here. But is going to be getting those projectiles.
So we did see a vital piece right there. It looks like Bomb knocked away 2 bits of the wall. So you may very well have a tool to go ahead and create an impromptu door when necessary.
That is true, and Young Link does kind of like to pull bombs anyway, so very applicable there. I feel like PawnMaster could have got some sort of follow-up off that second bomb, but
very nearly dying in that situation, stuck in the corner, and yet another forward air. That one will take it, so PawnMaster making his ledge traps count.
But it doesn't matter, because I was going to say, but it doesn't matter after that first fair hit, but then Chris didn't die, so it was awkward.
So it did matter.
It did matter.
Kind of.
Got a second forward air, and that one killed.
This up B has been really optimistic.
Yeah.
We've seen like 3 times in a row where he just has not connected whatsoever.
Didn't get punished for it that last time, though, fortunately. He is going to be catching that anvil, though. And despite how the game started off, it is very even right now. Although PawnMaster is in the middle of getting a semi-damaging string. Steve is on the screen, so, you know.
Yeah, you can never count him out.
Yeah, we'll see some real damaging strings in a second here.
This is kind of what I want to see from Chris, though. Like, if you're low on resources, just hard commit to camping. Hard commit to gathering them with this mining option. You don't need to feel like you have to pressure PawnMaster.
That's true. Getting PawnMaster kind of at ledge here. None of those backers connecting though. Because what you said kind of did come up again with these really optimistic up Bs just not hitting their mark, you know?
Bomb? No, not in time. It's good delay from Chris. I feel like he actually backed off in that situation very wisely.
Did not know that would kill.
Did not look like it should have. It may very well have been a DI'd straight up.
Maybe.
Yeah, the angle was a little bit off, it looked like. But regardless, and he would have barely survived to get the DI perfect.
That's true.
That is an interesting... We're not even trying for the jab. We're just swinging right here. Forward smash immediately thereafter.
I mean, it got PawnMaster off stage.
True.
Not that that amounted to anything, but it could have.
Yeah, Chris really hasn't had the opportunity to make too much out of the edge guards so far. I feel like this is one where you could just build a wall in the corner and just clip the up B, like prevent it from grabbing ledge.
That's true. That up B does last a while though, so if the block that you're using to block ledge isn't one of those like sturdier ones, then he might go through.
I can see that for sure. So not enough of a mash to get out of that situation. It felt as though that was definitely like the edge of when you'd expect that minecart to secure that stock.
Yeah.
One of those where like if you have God tier mash, then you might be able to get out, but it's actually like a surprisingly good tool, or surprisingly good command grab minecart is.
Because at those higher percents, you can see like the mash lines. Like if they're really mashing, it'll still take quite a bit of time to actually like get out. Catching the double jump that Chris did. Finally catching one of these uppies. Feels like PawnMaster's been wanting that like the entire time that first game. Phantom footstool for nothing. I wish people did that more.
The Phantom footstool?
Yeah.
The old Gimmer tech to get out of disadvantage?
Yeah, because I've used it on occasion and it's worked. And I feel like there is potential with it. Just nobody feels like using it.
Somewhere like Gimmer's getting a tingle on the back of his neck.
Yeah.
The hairs are standing up like someone's talking about the tech. They know.
Not even the slingshot, the footstool.
And the original Gimmer tech. Yeah, exactly. Oh, great sliding
yeah.
forward tilt in that situation. A little bit of a grounded burst option for this youngling.
I don't think that was a regrab either. It was just you're at hyper sense, so you don't have as much info on ledge.
True. Either that or Chris went ahead and dropped ledge to try to jump back up.
That's also possible.
So far, there's been nothing working out for Chris here. PawnMaster just oppressive with this advantage state. Hit after hit, falling on Chris, unable to build so much as a patio right here. Definitely no house to go ahead and get some resources going.
Yeah, and I feel like that's exactly what Chris needs right now, is to just step back, like catch your breath, get some more resources. Because now you're out of iron. You can't minecart, you can't anvil. The only iron you have are the tools that you've crafted, but now you do have a little bit more.
That was a setup right there.
Yeah.
PawnMaster, the aggressive up B, gonna go ahead and secure a little bit of stage control, but the neutral air beaten out by the minecart yet again. Chris gets off the anvil, not gonna connect the back air. Also the second back air, also not.
Minecart because it's strong, but it's only strong if you hit it fair, or not fair, sorry.
Nothing about this character's fair.
F throw. That's true.
Nah, I got what you were going for, but I have to go ahead and chip in with that one.
Yeah, no, you're good. Because you're right.
So now we are trying to see Chris get a little bit of that breathing room, a couple of these resources. Like at a minimum, I feel like we need to get some stone and some diamonds too, so that you can try to steal a stock early.
And getting these up tilts, that could have been more if Chris had those mills down. So I guess lucky for PawnMaster, only catching 41 off of those up tilts. Chris is swinging.
Yeah, he wants to get this forward smash to kill at 60. Yeah, I feel like we are not quite there, but
I mean, if we were closer to the ledge, then maybe. That was another setup there with the minecart and the bear.
the dirt block too in that position, one of those rare situations where the dirt is the perfect tool because of how quickly it dissipates under that anvil. So now this is all PawnMaster. Simply do not get clipped by this diamond menace that is Chris. You just got to get the kill confirmed here, and Chris so far getting clipped by a ton of these projectiles, but none of them at a position where Pawn can get the kill confirmed. But there, finally, the second arrow, the approaching arrow that time, into the forward air. That'll do it.
Yeah, because it felt like Chris definitely wanted to get in, but PawnMaster was like, hey, you know this B button on the controller, right? I'm going to press it a lot. I would love to see what PawnMaster's B button on this controller looks like, just because of how projectile, you know, special-oriented Young Link is. And it seems as though Chris is going to be sticking with the Steve. Switching off of Enderman to Alex, though, definitely given the competitive edge.
Exactly, yeah. Could very well be.
Because one thing Young Link's hate to do is hit. I don't know.
What was that up B? This is a bad start to the match all of a sudden right here, as Pawn, tons of damage.
Yeah, I felt
Chris is like firmly in control all of a sudden.
and I felt like that TNT was just like devastating at the start, even though it didn't really get the zoom in. Got him some more diamond, or not diamond, iron. Although diamond is on deck now. So now it just falls to PawnMaster to not allow Chris to actually like get the opportunity to actually get to that crafting table.
The ability to go solid wood here, it feels like that is a big game changer. Instead of having to deal with dirt, which is immediately clipped by the bomb, the wood lasts a little bit longer and allows Chris to reset his walls. And that has allowed him to just relieve so much pressure. That plus just the broader stage, it just feels like that over-aggressive Game 2 gameplay that we saw from PawnMaster is just vanished.
Yeah, and Chris finding these up tilts, getting the combo, 54%. It's always so depressing getting hit by that. Just playing against Steve is like, yeah, what am I supposed to do there? It's such a fast move that covers a decent, you know, amount of area.
Though the saving grace for Pawn right here is that you've got Chris, stock is gone, and Chris never had the opportunity to build diamond in that spot. That entire stock, he was sitting on iron tools just because Pawn started to turn up the pressure yet again.
That's true, and resources are starting to run a bit low for Chris. Doesn't really have a lot in that little meter down there. Although he's going to find the opportunity to get a lot more. Ooh, back air dash attack. Don't really see that come out too often.
It feels as though perhaps Pawn is starting to address the fact that it looks as though Chris is really air dodging a bit frequently defensively. Like the tools just aren't being kept for Chris reactively. It feels like he's actively choosing defensive options like minecart and air dodge.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that be called out a bit more from PawnMaster. Just catching that minecart, I feel like another one that might be stock. Now, there is the factor that, like, yeah, while... Oh, just straight fair coming out. While bomb may not automatically delete the blocks, if you just manage to get that bottom block on, it seems as though you can still, like, fit your arrow underneath and still get those hits.
A little bit of platform camping from Chris, trying to get some resources, but it didn't really work out too much. Felt like he was expending just as many blocks as he was receiving.
Yeah.
Now down to last stock situations yet again. Despite the counter picks, these matches remain close.
They do. Chris taking the time to just get all of the materials needed for this last stock.
Mistech? Oh no! I think that Pawn got stuck in the arrow animation right there. That's definitely one of those where you want to react to the mistech with a double jump and try to cover something, but just couldn't. There's so much lag at the end of that move.
It feels like for all of the materials that Chris mined, doesn't really have much to show for it because PawnMaster's kind of just been dominating the neutral like this entire time.
True, but at 117 with Diamond, I feel like the range is more than enough to claim it with the back air.
Yeah, Steve is a bit silly.
I mean, also it's the kind of the stage that at that situation, you got those narrow side blast zones. He had the setup, and Pawn did not react appropriately. One of those spots, perhaps, where you want to consider the roll through.
That's true, and it is one of those situations where, like, you should know that the Steve will be going for back air.
Yes. Here. That is one of those where, like, Cloud's, like, he's got his back turned to you and you're in the corner. We all know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And it's really similar to Steve. I compare those two characters quite a bit because it feels like once Steve has that diamond backer available, you know he's going to use it.
Yeah, I mean, but in PawnMaster's defense, the thing that makes the Steves and the Clouds use the back air so often in that scenario is that it's so effective. Even if you are ready for it and you know what's going to happen, it's still really hard to deal with. PawnMaster playing catch with himself with that bomb.
Does manage to secure the projectile, but so far just choosing that deliberative, patient option to break down Chris's walls, and it's kind of been working out. Like, he gets the percentage lead, but then when it's time to kill, problems arise.
Yeah, and it feels like Chris has definitely been having a much easier time finding the kills than PawnMaster. And that's like, really just Steve and Youngling.
Part of it's certainly the matchup. Part of it just like the change in tempo has easily been favoring Chris. When it's time for Chris to go in, he hits every button on the control stick, and it works because he can actually scrap. Youngling is a little bit too stubby to be doing that against this Enderman.
True. Oh yeah, we switched back to Enderman from Alex.
I mean, counter Big City, right?
Uh-huh.
75 damage here so far. PawnMaster doing a much better job this time so far here in Game 4.
And I feel like PawnMaster has been picking and choosing the points in which he wants to use the uppies on stage a bit more effectively than we saw at the beginning of the set. And I feel like it's just allowed for a lot more opportunities to actually get those like meaningful up airs, you know?
Every time Steve does like walking forward up tilt, I just want to scream.
Yeah.
It just tilts me as a commentator. It's like, why can he do that?
Like, it's understandable when Mega Man can do it because it's like interesting interaction. Because it's like, it's just a little disruptive pellet, but when Steve does it, it's like this allows you to get like 68%.
It's very menacing. It is very, very menacing.
They are not the same.
It's that, whatchamacall, that gif of, like, whatchamacall, flirting versus harassment.
Oh, yeah. And then you have Min and kind of like that.
That's harassment, too.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that one. That is immediately go to HR.
That's like...
These edge guards have not been working out for PawnMaster. Like, I dig the aggressive attempts, but so far, he just hasn't been able to claim the stock. Up throw? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll take it. Young Link, character that struggles to kill here, but I feel like just... Oh, we're throwing hands. Enderman throwing hands.
He's throwing quite a bit right here.
Yeah, finally finding that kill, although taking 56% in the process.
Diamond available yet again for Chris. This could very well be a point where we're in, like, diamond forward smash killing at edge territory. Back air certainly won't do it right there, but next one very likely to do so, particularly in the corner. And oh no, the aggressive up B clip by the TNT. Not gonna kill, but setting up something special perhaps. Anvil out, great roll from Pawn. Still gets clipped by the forward air though.
Although I do want to note that activating that TNC like Pawn did actually put on like a lot of percent onto Chris that really accelerated the process of like getting Chris up to that percent where fair would kill. So while it seemed like a bad thing at first, I do feel like that might have actually like resulted in PawnMaster winning that game, just because of how much percent that TNT did to Steve in that process. Now we're actually seeing a Game 5 sponsored by explosives.
So now I'm curious what the counter pick is here. I'm sure TNC is not available. So, yeah, we're not going to let him go back to it. No homie rule right here. We are going back to PS2. Another one of those broader stages that may very well relieve some pressure from this aggressive young Link.
Well, just barely maneuvering around that up tilt, managing to get that like uppy in the back air or whatever that was.
Do you also know what this tag is from Pawn? I really got to know.
I really don't.
Is this some kind of scientific notation here, E4? Or is this like Season 1, Episode 4 of some TV show? I have no idea.
I have no clue. I know PawnMaster's been running it for like a while.
Yeah, I gotta know. This has been burning in the back of my head for a long time.
I'll ask IRLC next time I see him.
Hey.
Because I feel like he would have the insight, probably.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. Trying to get that down air to confirm, not going to work out, so instead boomerang into down air, and again, Chris preemptively pulling out that air dodge and is coming back to bite him. PawnMaster's confirms have been really crispy the past 2 games, and it is working out.
Yeah, but now Diamond is online, and Chris is at 0%, so going to be able to get the maximum use out of it.
Remember when you talked about picking good spots for those up Bs? That was not a good spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was like a Trixie, we're trying to like extend the hitbox off the table, but it did not work out. It put PawnMaster in that position where he lost his stock.
I mean, they can't all be winners, you know.
True, true.
Those up Bs. Gotta remind them of where you came from.
Occasionally we mesh.
I mean, we've seen it from Chris, you know, I will minecart because it is good.
It was in fact good in that situation.
Yeah, a lot for that back air. And
did that beat the up B from below the stage too? I don't like that.
I think that final slash from like Young Link hit the pressure plate.
That is messed up. Also, we gotta like ignore the fact that Chris just turned recovering into a Kaizo Mario level right there. You had like the wall with the hitbox directly behind it. I don't think PawnMaster was coming back from that in any way, shape, or form.
Ooh, the boomerang kind of coming in clutch for PawnMaster, avoiding that like up B string, or not up B, sorry, up tilt string.
Good air dodge for that time from Chris. Still gets clipped, but actually resets the situation. At 101, if you can keep a hold of this diamond weapon for a little bit, you can start to threaten a stock in maybe 50%.
That is true.
I was talking about 50% on PawnMaster's side, not on your side, Chris.
Using up a lot of stone, but there is still a decent bit of iron.
Don't do it like this. Okay, thank
Okay.
God. That was the fakest kill screen I've seen in a minute and a half, because I was about to go on a tangent.
I was
About
like,
to be very upset.
ain't no way.
Yeah, exactly. Steep forward air, even with a diamond and range killing at like 40. Nonsense.
Mars can't even do that.
True. Thankfully his down air don't work most of the time.
Unfortunately. To my chagrin.
PawnMaster being very judicious with his approach options all of a sudden, and I cannot blame him. We've got the diamond tool reset on Chris's side, so you have to be very careful.
Chris taking this last stock very slowly. And
Feels like he mined to get the diamond back, but since then, like, yeah, it's still been very pensive.
I feel like a lot of this mining now at last stock is like, chances are you're going to keep this diamond tool for the rest of the game. It's not going to run out of durability. So I feel like a lot of this mining is more so for the iron to be able to use the minecart there and the anvil. But
And the back air.
PawnMaster not happy about that, bouncing a couple of times in that player cam.
PawnMaster losing a couple of close game fives. It's definitely one of those spots where you got to go away from those runs with a little bit of a, just reel back in your chair. It's like, man, if I just did X, Y, or Z better, I'm in there for third instead of fourth.
Yeah.
But still, hell of a run.
Still, yeah. And especially at a tournament like this, which has like a much higher turnout than normal.
Let's take a look at who PawnMaster actually beat right there. So PawnMaster lost to Dexter, obviously. We saw that one on stream. Beat the Doctor, beat Leo Lee, so another Steve. Beat Rel Wood, actually. And as well as Brown Mamba. So, and then in loser's bracket, managed to fight through, I believe actually that was his first loser's match. Oh no, that's so rough. So